Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I have been doing a tarot card reading specifically about what is currently going on and I receive insights based on the cards. Basically, I don't read them like normal tarot. I start to get insight through the cards, and so far what I didn't start recording until now, but what I wanted to share is the messages that I've gotten so far, which is that we currently are being protected at this time through the light workers. Light workers right now are currently being protected at this time right now because the awakened collective, the collective of light workers, is become so strong and so vibrant with this Kundalini energy that it has become very powerful, and it's literally triggering awakenings. And I'm seeing this in more of the feminine, the feminines awakening the masculine, but obviously that isn't actual gender, that's energy. So I'm seeing that we are being protected, and many of us may be feeling tentative because we've gone through this so much and been pushed to our edge in terms of healing and cycles of healing, cycles of purging. However, I received the message that we are literally, there's a group that is completely closing out a cycle that has been repeating. The card Never Ending Story tells the tale of that. And basically, the guidance is that balance is finally coming in terms of, for a group of people, you will resonate with this. You are closing out an old cycle, and what remains, what is out there in the future, is kind of a mystery right now for these people, because we've just spent so much time going through this, and it's basically been like the thing that they've always known in the sense that they didn't even know that they were still dealing with it. But now is the time that the time has run out for that story, and we are finally healing it for the last time. And this has contributed to the collective awakening energy, to the Kundalini energy that is contagious throughout the collective. And it is causing those who are asleep to wake up. And also the message came out that those who are asleep right now are also being protected. So remember that we don't need to try and share certain spiritual information with people in a forceful manner, because many of us feel like this information might protect them. However, I am receiving the message that we do not need to do this, and that people who are asleep are protected. They are being protected, especially right now, because those are the innocent people. Although they are still acting out their wounds, maybe, yes, they are still innocent because they are simply asleep. It is probably a different story, however, though, for those who are actively participating in what you would call negative energy, or giving negative energy out as a choice. So I'm going to ask for clarity for the future in regards to the group who is closing out this cycle, and this has to do with closing out a relationship cycle. And so I'm going to ask for some clarity on what the future holds specifically for this group. By the way, I just started doing tarot readings for this channel, and this channel is brand new, and so in the future I plan to do video, but for now we're just doing cards. We're just doing audio, but I'd love to do video so I could actually show you the cards. Okay, I'm gonna ask for 3 cards. Okay. So what's coming for the feminine? Okay, so in regards to some people who are in a relationship and they're going through this cycle, marriage is a potential, like actual marriage, and soul, on a soul level, that kind of unity is what is ahead. I also am just seeing just a lot of happiness and inner peace, which may not be a surprise to what we would expect. I also feel like we are entering a new plane of existence that is something that we on a soul level are familiar with, but on a 3D human level we've never experienced before. But when we do enter it, it will be familiar to us, if that makes sense. It will be connected to kind of the other dimensions and lives that we have experienced before, and that has to do with anchoring 5D in at this time. I'm going to ask for clarity on this card here that I'm looking at, called Milk and Honey. So I can get the correct message out. Okay. So what I'm seeing is so we've been very patient, and we have done a lot of planning, in a sense, subconsciously getting ready for this time period. Oh my gosh, what I just got was amazing. So this whole time we've been going through this transformation, but it's all been in preparation for this time. So we were going through that never-ending story, the looping, the repeat of struggling and trying to heal our wounds and repeating our wounds over and over, and going through the purging cycle, like the literal purging cycle that was like endless. And we thought that was the event, but in reality, there really is a time that we are stepping into, and that was just preparing us for this new time. In the sense, we are now crossing the threshold of that which we have been patient for, that which we have planned for, and that patience has paid off because it is turned into neutrality. Where once there was a struggle and there was a discomfort sitting in certain energies, there is now a neutrality. And this is how we have, over time, transformed. I'm also receiving the message that it's important to know that, to understand who you are, to see the light that you are at this time. Like, we may be fighting this war on an etheric level, on a spiritual level, on a physical level as well. But it is important right now to look inwards and actually see like who you've become, how strong you are, and to recognize that you are indeed the light bringers at this time, because the light warriors, actually, because many times I don't like to stress labels and things, but it's super important right now that we see, for whoever this resonates with, that you are indeed a light worker and a light warrior, and you are fighting the battle at this time. And although you may feel the collective fears at this time, although you may look at the beast and you may be intimidated or frightened by what you see, just remember who you are. Remember that you have your wings, that you are a warrior at this time. I'm going to ask for more insight, things that we need to know at this time. Actually, I'm going to use a different deck. One sec as I shuffle these cards. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm getting the confirmation, and I know you probably hear this a lot in other readings, but you are protected at this time right now. You are protected. You are supported in your healing abilities and being a healer. And right now there is no better time than to practice these abilities. Another message I'm getting is that for some who don't feel as confident in their abilities, a message is that it's important to practice them, to actually put that practice in to feel confident, meaning you're not going to feel confident in your healing abilities and your gifts unless you practice them in a healing type of setting. So whatever that may be, maybe you need to brainstorm or ask your guidance, but they're saying that some need to not worry about not feeling confident enough or ready enough or established enough or whatever it may be. Know that you have been practicing your abilities, whether you know it or not. You have been. So you are skilled at this point, but also that you will be practicing, and that practice makes perfect. So I'm going to get clarity, more clarity on this, more insight. More advice for that which this resonates with. Yeah, so I'm just getting a confirmation of this. This card says dance with life, and I'm feeling that pretty strongly. For whatever reason, I'm feeling like when everyone's asleep, there's somebody who's awake. This may or may not resonate with you, but at nighttime I'm seeing like while everyone's asleep, there's someone behind the scenes like putting in this magic type of work, like doing this magical kind of work, like big work to help the collective. And I don't know if that has to do with, I think I'm getting a message that the energies are coming in at night, and also that we're getting extra outside help, if you know what I mean, during the nighttime. We're getting extra help from the cosmos, and I'm seeing that nighttime, when everyone is asleep, is a really powerful time to practice your tuning in, because It is when everyone is sleeping, and it's a good time to, it's a time when the energies are more blank, kind of a blank slate, if you will, more of a clean slate to practice, or to, if you need to receive guidance, it's a good time to tune in. What else? One sec, I'm gonna pull more cards. I'm gonna ask for any important timelines or anything we need to know regarding the actual physical timelines. Oh, jeez. Okay. Let me move all these cards. If you are new here, thank you for following along. This may not be, I'm not sure like how pleasant this will be without seeing the cards, but I tend to really just take the messages from the cards and my intuition's activated through them. Okay, so right now I'm looking at the cards. I'm trying to get these messages. You look at them. Okay, so one message I'm getting is that when we are alone, like when we are alone in our bedroom or the bathtub or wherever it may be, it's when we're there that we are actually doing so much work for the collective, and we may not see it because we are all the building blocks of this entire shift. And by us just being alone in our bedroom, setting the intention, whether it be like we're meditating, we're having positive intention, or we are doing something, which all of us are. If you are here, if you resonate with this, you are a healer, a light worker who has the most positive timeline in mind for the collective. We're all sitting here hoping for this to happen. Basically, this is helping to create the shift that we need. And a lot of this has to do with the feminine energies. So if you're not one if you get tripped up easily by like the masculine, feminine energy, you're confused, all this really means is that the softer, more nurturing energies are really helping set the tone right now, because it is the feminine energies that are holding the space right now, the space for which the 5D realm can take place, can start to become built. It is the feminine holding the space. The masculine energy has to join, but that comes after, and that comes more quicker, more instantaneously. It is the feminine energy that has the job of really divinely going inward and healing and holding this space, this nurturing space. In order to do that, she has to nurture herself, or he has to nurture himself. We all have these energies within us. So I'm feeling like right now, what a big message is right now that people need to hear is that it doesn't matter if we're alone, it doesn't matter if we feel like we don't have the power to make a change. It's so important to know at this time that just by us having the intention or the desire for the collective to shift into this 5D realm, for the collective to shift into a lighter tone, a lighter reality, which all of us do have, just because we have that and we're tuned into that. It doesn't matter if you're alone in your room and you feel powerless, or you're not able to do your normal things that you normally do. The message is that you are adding and you are helping build this reality, that if we can all tune in right now, access our inner feminine, our inner nurturing energy, our inner loving compassion towards ourselves, and neutrality, that holds a space of compassion and strength, wisdom and trust and faith. If we can hold that and be in that energy, then oh my gosh, this is literally what's creating this event to happen right now. And it's happening on such a deep level right now because so many of us are feeling, you could say, in the spirit of tuning in. So many of us have had to surrender, and many people, just day-to-day people, are having to make the choice. Do I be upset about this situation and do I try and resist it even though I can't do the things I normally want to do? Or do I just be in this peace and be compassionate towards myself? People are having to make that choice right now. And so what this is doing is, with the backdrop, you could say, of the light workers who have already woken up and created that space. They are the building blocks. They are like the base layer, you could say, holding that. They're like a magnet that's pulling everyone else towards them to stick to. And that's kind of the effect of the collective. The light workers and awakened ones have had enough. There's so many of us, and this reality of the awakening has played out so much that we are starting to have an effect on the collective in a huge way. And so what I'm seeing is people are like flies. People are choosing to embody the inner feminine, and with this it's awakening the masculine. It is awakening the inner masculine, which, by the way, causes not only in regards to, if we're talking about twin flames, in a twin flame relationship, that would mean the masculine energy in that relationship is having their awakening and contributing to this mass awakening. But it would mean that in individual people, their energies are becoming balanced, and which translates to neutrality. Which that is us raising our vibration. Hopefully that makes sense. When the feminine energies and masculine energies are developed, they become more balanced, and that helps us ultimately ascend because we enter neutrality. Okay? So I think the big message right now is just to tune in and to have self-compassion at this time. Have self-compassion for yourself, for the world. I think there's a lot of people that aren't having a problem doing this because we have so much faith and trust. And then there's moments where we don't feel significant, but it's in those moments that Spirit wants you to trust, have faith, and have confidence in who you are and what you've done, who you've become, the role that you play in this world, in this ascension, and to remember who you are, and step into that divine feminine, that strong, trusting aspect where you are trusting and having faith in whatever's going on because you know who you are. You know you are a leader, if that makes sense. That type of energy is what's going to help this move along on an individual scale for each person, on your own individual timeline. That is what will help speed things along. So let me get some closing cards, because I feel like we had a really good message here. I'm going to take any closing cards to kind of wrap up and give any other messages that need to be shared. Okay. So for some, it is time to let go of old situations, and I think you already know that, and I think you're already walking out the door in that sense. if this is for some, you need to hear this. Like for some, somebody is just waiting for that message or for somebody to tell them that, yep, you gotta go. In that case, if that's you, then it's time to go. And that could be letting go of old things. And what I'm really getting with this is letting go of an identity. So like you may think that you're letting go of a person or a situation, but in reality, this is what's playing out on the 3D, but your soul, your true soul aspect is actually wanting to let go of identity that is not you. And so you're seeing it as in like, oh, I need to let go of this job or these people or this thing, and you're feeling like you need to do that. But the message is, whether you do that or not, I mean, you doing that may contribute to it and may actually be what you need, but you what is it? It's more of a holistic identity shift that's going on. And there's a way to let go of the past without letting go of it in such a polarized black and white way, if that makes sense. Like you don't need to necessarily cut people off if that's you, if you're feeling like worried about being alone and trying to build like a new set of friends or something. You don't necessarily need to do that, but you might be balancing out some polarity right now within your own self, but that's just being presented in the outside. And so what the best thing you can do for this case is go within. You may need to try a few things in order to see what you need, and you may need to take, for this person, whoever this resonates with, you may need to take a certain action in order for you to have clarity. So if that's the case, then that's what you need. That's the message for that. But I feel like that was a separate message from what I was giving earlier, so that may not resonate with everyone. I feel like for other people, for my other group of people, it's a time where you are mending relationships, meaning there's been a clean slate between you and people in your life, although you still may hold like remnants or traces of old wounds or old patterns. It seems like there's certain soul people in your life who you are currently living with, or who you are currently in contact with, whether that be friends, family. And it seems like there is a sense of harmony in these relationships, especially now because of the situation that we are in. And this is a very positive thing, because on a soul level, this is contributing, and this is what's happening all over. So like this is contributing to like harmony between people in general. So if we can try and be aware of ourselves at this time, be conscious of our actions, of our feelings, and be conscious specifically of ego, meaning like ego wanting certain things out of somebody, things like that, then we can help, excuse my dog in the background, but then we can basically have overall a harmonious relationship with the people around us at this time. And I think this is a time of like playfulness, of lightness. That's like the best energy to be in right now. I feel like that's like the highest timeline we could be in, is just playfulness, lightness, acting kind of like a kid, like going into your kid zone where you're just making fun creations, or using your imagination to create different feelings and different adventures in your mind and your feeling body out of scratch, like the kinds of things that we used to do as kids. That is what if you're feeling like stuck or depressed or blocked, just remember what I'm saying, like that is the best energy to lean into if you're feeling that way. is to lean into your kid-like essence, and also to take care of yourself as well, like to make sure that you're feeding yourself, you're doing your self-care. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just doing like things that will make you feel good during this time, and also balancing that out with embracing your curiosity and not being too hard on yourself at this time if you feel like unable to physically do stuff, because that would have to be that's more of like a masculine wound. That's more of a worthiness wound, which the message earlier for that was we really need people to start to see who they are, that they are a soldier, that they are a light warrior, that they are a light worker, that they have done so much work. We need people to see how amazing they are, how strong they are, how beautiful they are inside and out. We need people to see that they are a divine being, that they are a god in that way. We need people to see that, because that is ultimately what's helping the collective right now to shift. That's what's holding the space for the foundation to be built in order for the rest of the collective to start waking up, to start transitioning, and for the darkness to have light shed on it, because that's what starts to happen when the rest of society wakes up. It's because light is entering the collective. So it's all going to happen at once. It's all going to happen at once. And I just kind of received that message also as like a separate thing, meaning that could translate to our physical situation of this coronavirus, how it could come to an end. I'm seeing that it will literally happen like all at once, in a way, like almost like gravity. Like if a building fell over or something, or bricks fell over, like it would just be gravity, it would be tumbling down and happen within basically an instant. And within that instant, there won't be anything to fear. There will not be anything to fear at all, because there will be something that happens. I don't know what it is. It might be like something that we become aware of, or something that we know, that in which we feel absolutely no fear at all. And it's almost just like oh yeah, like that's what the that hopefully I'm explaining this right, but that's what the feeling will be when this event happens. It'll just be like, oh yeah, like that's the way it's coming across to me. Because I think it's important to say that, because there's so much like stigma around the event, and there honestly is fear around it as well, because we don't know, like it's part of the unknown. But what Source is wanting us to know is that it is more of just a literal like a light switch going on, or like something like falling over, and then boom, like, oh yeah, like, yep, like that's kind of the feeling of it. And so it's not like we are finding out something horrible or crazy, and it's not like it's coming from totally left field and hitting us in which we're unexpected. The way in which we are unprepared. The way this event is rolling out is that we are putting down the bricks. We are laying down the bricks in a way in which we are being prepared at this time for a sudden shift in consciousness, and that then becomes just the norm. So there's nothing crazy that's happening. It's going to be happening like on another level. It will be crazy in the sense of like how beautiful this shift will be. But it's going to be more of just like, oh yeah, like boom, like I knew that, or whatever, like something like that. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's like the feeling that I'm strongly getting. And the last message I'm getting is that we need to make space. The best thing we can do is open the timeline up ourselves individually by opening our minds, our hearts up to a timeline in which there is just pure joy, opening our perception up to include a timeline that is much greater than the one we are currently in. So if we can set that timeline, or set the intention to keep a space open for that timeline to be created, and just leave your fears at the door is what I'm getting. Like, leave your fears at the door in regards to like what it may be like. Instead, just like keep it open, keep it, the energy of this timeline neutral, and leave the space open for this timeline to be created. Let it be a neutral space. Let it be a hopeful, exciting space. Let it be a space that lives in your heart, a space of playfulness, like inner child playfulness, and mystery. And that is what will help build the new earth, as they say, or build this new shift, build the timeline. And that will be happening in conjunction or parallel to the physical events that we'll see. It'll all happen simultaneously, interconnected, and there will be a unity to it. So that is what I'm getting about what's going to happen, or what the energies are like. Hopefully this message resonated with you. If it did, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And yeah, this is my first video on this channel, but I wanted to share my own messages that I've been receiving. So yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.